Welcome everyone to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. We are nearing 2 years at war with Hamas and Gaza. Israeli soldiers continue to lose their lives fighting this evil, and people want to know, when is this war going to end? The State of Israel has, of course, declared a number of war goals, including destroying the military and governmental capacity of Hamas and Gaza. When will that happen? And to answer this question, I could think of no one better to bring on the briefing than Lieutenant Colonel Yaron Buskila. Yaron is a leader within the IDSF organization here in Israel, and he is the director of operations of the Gaza division, and therefore he knows quite well what is happening in this war and what Israel needs to do to win this war. So listen to what we speak about. Listen to the progress that Israel has made, the challenges that still await us, and the great opportunities that he sees in this war. And of particular interest, I ask him, what is the greatest challenge that you face when fighting Hamas and Gaza? Listen to what he says. It's profound. So Yaron, let's just jump right in. We are, as I just noted, close to 2 years at war with Hamas, and we're trying to destroy Hamas as a military, as a governmental agency in Gaza. How close are we to achieving these goals of war?
I think that we are very close to achieve our goals. The thing is that it's take much more time than we planned, because during the war we had to take some ceasefire to release our hostages, and all of this breaks during the war give the Hamas the opportunity to recover, to get back to war much more stronger than they been since the ceasefire started. And at the same time, our decision regarding to the law, to the international law, to give this humanitarian aid to the civilians, since it went straight to the hands of the Hamas, that gave them the ability to still have power to recover themselves, to get some of the food, fuel, and even medicine. And that's helped them, first of all, to manage the society and to make it conditions for the society. If they want the food, they have to come and to join the Hamas and to fight against Israel. At the same time, use this humanitarian aid to their own needs. And that gives them the ability to keep and to fight against Israel. And that's one of the reasons why this war is going much more time than we planned. But still, we are doing a very good job with defeating the Hamas. They it's not have the same abilities and the capabilities that they had before October 7. We just want to finish this war in a point that we know that they don't have any ability to infiltrate into Israel again, even into one village. And that's take time to break the Hamas, to defeat the Hamas, eliminate them, and to give ourselves the opportunity to a better future, much more safe future.
Are you able to share a little bit about the hierarchy within the military and how that really translates into success of the rank and file, the soldiers who stopped their lives and ran to really fight on behalf of the State of Israel? I know, of course, you did that as well. And then when we look at the higher levels of leadership in the army, so where are we right now in terms of that disconnect? And what levels of the leadership does that really impact?
Well, I think that the problem that happened only in October 7 was that the high rank commanders, those that are especially was in the headquarters of the IDF, didn't really understood the full picture of what happening in the village around Gaza, in the cities. And those that actually understood the picture, it was the troops that was every troop that was in the field. Everybody just understood part of the picture, and they fought wherever they found there are terrorists, and just it took time. Just just afternoon, we started to understand that the full picture, where the Hamas are, where did they infiltrate, and how massive was the attack. But I think that the real chaos happened only in October 7. During October 8, the army started to plan a counteroffensive in Gaza, and then I think that all of the parts started to reconcile again, and the relationship and the connection between the high-level rank and the lower-level rank. I think that right now the system is working very, very well, but the problems that we see are not because of the high rank or because of the lowest rank. It's because of the decisions that the government takes regarding to what they are forcing to do by the international law, but the other countries. But part of the problem that we had beginning in October 7, that we have not enough ammunition, and in part of the time we felt that our hands are handicapped, and we couldn't really bring all of our efforts and all of our abilities everywhere, because the Hamas abused the civilians and they use them as a human shield. And since we are not bombing everywhere and we have to distinguish all the time between the civilians and the Hamas, so it's take much more time that you're fighting against another country. When you're fighting against another country, there is a military targets and there's civilians. But when you're fighting against terror, usually what the terror trying to do, and the Hamas is doing that very well, is connecting between, and is trying to hide and to be part of the society and fight from the society against the IDF. And that's take much more time, and you need to fight much more accurate war when you want to hit only the Hamas and not the civilians.
So, with the new chief of staff in place, do you feel like the army is one cohesive unit?
Yeah, I think that the chief of the staff, the new chief of the staff, I think that he came with another attitude. I personally think that the last one, first of all, he was under the October 7 effect, and it's very hard to work and to take a decision when you feel very, very responsible to what happened in October 7, and you have to come with another spirit. First of all, spirit of decisive winning. And decisive winning, it's mean that you want to fight, you know exactly what you want to achieve, and I think the most important thing that you have the trust of your lowest commander. I think that October 7 obviously make the lowest officers and even some of the officers in the high rank not really trust even each other and not trust the chief of the staff. And now when we have the new chief of the staff with a new spirit, I think we feel, and I'm talking as the chief operation officer of the Gaza division, even in my position, we feel directly the spirit of the new chief of the staff, Eyal Zamir, that comes straight to every operation room. You know exactly what he wants to achieve, and we are very connected to every order that he gives.
At what point will Gaza be more like Yehuda v'Shomron in terms of the army's ability to maneuver and to operate in the area?
Well, this is a very good question. I can share with you some very interesting detail. In October 8, 7 a.m. in the morning, we made a kind of a conference, the first conference of all of the officer and from the IDF and the Shin Bet and so on, after what happened October 7. And I asked the commander of the southern area of the Shin Bet a question that I think that many people wanted to ask him: why we didn't have any detail, any information about what happened October 7. I mean, 7,000 Hamas members attacked in October 7, and you don't have even one detail, no one that can call you. And he gave me a very interesting answer. He said, Yaron, this is not Judea and Samaria. This is Gaza, and this is different. So what is so different between Judea and Samaria to Gaza? In Judea and Samaria, we have villages, because and since we have villages, we have the army there, and because the army is there, the Shin Bet is there, is everywhere, and because we are all of them, we have a collision, we have clash with the enemy, clashing with the enemy, creating information, and when you have information, it's much more easy to get to every one of them because you are always there, and we always get data and details when you're researching and you're investigating and you're just everywhere that you want to get. But it's very different, and the vice versa from what happened in Gaza since 2005. We're not there, and because we are not there, we didn't have the same information. So what's happening in Gaza right now is that we want to make Gaza, regarding to how we want the IDF to work there, the same like happening in Judea and Samaria, that we have the same ability to get everywhere, to arrest everyone that we want to arrest, and to eliminate every terror member. In Judea and Samaria, it's easy. It's easy because we've always been there. We are very strong in the area. So let's just give an example. If we want to arrest Hamas member in Judea and Samaria, we can just send a squad. Squad like 10 soldiers, 12 soldiers is enough to arrest a Hamas member wherever he is. But if we want to arrest a Hamas member or to kill a Hamas member in Gaza, we need to send a brigade. Like I'm talking about 500 soldiers. Why? Because the Hamas is much more stronger right now in Gaza. We are not everywhere, and we want to get into a point that we can get everywhere. We are holding every area, and we get ourselves the opportunity and to get to every place that we want with not so much soldiers, same like happening in Judea and Samaria. That will take time. I mean, we are in a better place that we've been in October 7. In 75% of the places we can get everywhere easily, but there is still like 25% of the area. We call it like we call in the army language the eggs. It's the area that the Hamas still holding, very very strong. Most of the places is holding the hostages as well, so we can't get so close so easily because we don't want them to kill them. If we're getting straight to this place, we can get. I mean, we can do it, but then they will kill the hostages. And we want to do it in a very sensitive way, and to kill the Hamas at the same time to save the hostages' life and not to risk them. So I believe that it's still going to take time, but we are much more close to achieve our goals than we've been on October 7. That's for sure.
So just to clarify, are you saying in that 75% it is similar to Judea and Samaria and you can just send 10 soldiers out on a mission?
Actually, 75%, we are holding it very, very good, and we can get almost everywhere with any resist. I mean, when I say resist, there is some of the places still underground tunnels, so the Hamas can still surprise us, but actually we're driving there with an open cars, no shields. We feel very, very safe there, but still there are the hardcores, the 25%, where the Hamas is still there, is hiding there. Part of the place is underground, holding the hostages, but I can say that we're 75% close to achieve our goals than we've been in October 7.
So when we talk about making that transition from war to continued operations, is it really just about taking over that last 25%?
Yes, first of all is taking over the 25% and destroy all of the Hamas infrastructure underground, and those that they use their private houses that they use all of that belong to the civilians. And it's not only about getting the hostages out. Maybe we can be doing with a deal and to one more agreement and then to release them. So that gives us the ability to get every year without any problem, nothing that they're disturbing us. since the same like I said before, when there are hostages there, you can't come close because you don't want to risk their life. When they are when the hostages will not be there, it will be much more easy to get everywhere, and you don't need to be afraid that they will kill the hostages, and you feel much more free to get everywhere you want without any disturb.
So, is there a scenario where the government could decide not to conquer this last 25%, just stay in the 75% and build some type of barrier between the two zones? Is that realistically a way that this war can be won? Or, in your opinion, it is all or nothing? Either Israel conquers all 100% of Gaza, or we fail to accomplish the goals of war.
There is a scenario like this. I mean, this is one of the opportunities, but then it will take much more time because we need to, the way to defeat the Hamas this way is to make a raids again and again into this 25%. And raid, it's not like to catch this area and then to have much more free abilities to work everywhere. You need to go inside and to leave, to go inside and to leave. That's how a raid works. And that take much more time than to hold this area and to fight. But at the same time, I mean, when you are conquered areas, especially the last 25%, it's much more risk to the soldier. We will see much more soldiers that get hurt because this is part of how war is working, especially if you're attacking. Raids, it takes much more time, but less soldier will get hurt. So it's a decision. It's a decision that we need to take. I mean, every decision have some benefits, and we need to decide what we need to do. I privately, I mean, I think that the right way is to take over the 25%, and I mean, we need to think not just about the day after Gaza. We need to think about the days in the generation after Gaza. If we not do that, and so we will switch hostages in another hostages. I mean, we will release 20 hostages that are still alive, but we will take all of these civilians that still live around Gaza Strip, and they will be the hostages under the umbrella of the threats of the Hamas, again, for the longevity. So we need to take a decision and to act in a way that the Hamas will not be a terror organization anymore. He will not threat Israel anymore, and I think that we're in a point. Let's say like that. I think we're in a point that maybe the Iron Dome and all of this system, we will find them 1 year from now in the IDF museum, or we need to buy much more Iron Domes to protect ourselves. But this is actually what's going to happen. If we will defeat the Hamas decisively, there will not be any need for not Iron Dome, not the sirens, not protective rooms and shelters, because no one will launch rockets into Israel. But if we will not, the Hamas will recover himself very, very quick. He will learn his lessons from the war and what our weaknesses and where we are strong. And I mean, the Hamas created to fight against Israel. It will not be a humanitarian group. It will not change his goals to be something else. He wants to defeat Israel. That's what he believes. This is part of his radical Islam belief. So I think if he will not do that, he will recover himself very, very quick, and we will find ourselves under the same threats, even more, that we've been before October 7th.
Thank you for taking all of these questions. There's a lot of discussions right now about the Morag corridor and the extent to which Israel must remain in that area and how that impacts the local clans and their resistance against Hamas. Can you explain all of this to us?
Yes. So I believe that much of you heard about Philadelphia corridor, and now you hear about Morag corridor. This is two different things. Philadelphia corridor, it's a corridor that actually split between Egypt to Gaza. And if we are holding this corridor, it means that they don't have the ability to smuggle ammunition into Gaza, and they don't have the ability to take some of our hostages and take them out of Gaza into Sinai, and from Sinai you can begin taking them easily to Iran. That's why we need to hold Philadelphia corridor. Morag corridor is a corridor that's split between the south area of Gaza Strip in Rafah to the north area or the center of Gaza. Why it's so important? Because the IDF start to plan and to work about a humanitarian kind of a city. We call it in the IDSF humanitarian island. It's a place that we want to move the society south, and that's the way to distinguish and to split between the Hamas and the civilians. That will give us the ability to defeat the Hamas much more easy. If we will leave this corridor, the Hamas will go straight away to the south of the Gaza Strip, and he will ruin everything that we already built. And we will, because he know that what protect him is the civilians. He don't want us to split between the Hamas and the society. So he will take take it back and will force the society to go back to the center and to north so they can use them as a human shield. But there is one more thing that is very important about this corridor. During the last months, and I mean the last year, we started to cooperate with some local tribes that are, some of them come from the south of Gaza and some of them from the center. Those tribes are against the Hamas. And we try to strange them, to give them the ability to fight against the Hamas and maybe one day to take the place of the Hamas and lead Gaza without a terror. So they are right now in the south. We gave them a safe area. We built them a safe area. They moved all of their families, all of their goods, everything is there, and they trust us that we will not leave them. Because if we will leave this Morag corridor, and they're right now located between Morag corridor to Philadelphia corridor, in these areas that we are holding very, very good. Immediately, what will happen after we leave the Morag corridor, the Hamas his first act will go to this tribe and to slaughter them. That he will do because he don't want them to take their place. He know that during the time they become stronger and they fighting against the Hamas, and he said, okay, we need to remove the threat, and he will kill all of them. Their families, their kids, they take their goods and they kill everywhere, and we will not have the opportunity again to connect and to make agreement with other tribes, because they say if Israel left behind those tribes, why they will not do that again? And I think this is something very, very essential to hold this area, to help to these tribes and to make them stronger for a better future in Gaza, and to help, they will help us to defeat the Hamas.
There's an old expression, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So right now these clans are the enemy of Hamas and they're the friends of Israel, so to speak. But that could be short-lived. And we know, of course, that once upon a time the PA controlled Gaza and then Hamas took over, and that didn't end so well.
I think that the biggest problem was that we lived this area and we left it to the Palestinian Authority and to the Hamas. If we were still there, the same like we are in Judea and Samaria, the Hamas is in Judea and Samaria, the Palestinian Authority there, but we know that the Palestinian Authority don't have the interest and even the opportunity, and they don't have enough power to fight against the Hamas. So that's what we're doing. So we don't give the Hamas to raise their head and to be stronger. So if we will give these tribes to lead Gaza after this war, but we will still stay there in Gaza, we will give the army the option to get everywhere and to defeat the Hamas, and we will not leave the area the same like we did in 2005. So yeah, we can take care about two things. First of all, that those tribes don't change their mind and now start to fight against Israel, and maybe they're like changing their interest and say, okay, now that we are strong, economy from the economy side, and we are leading now the area. So now we will put one more goal, is to fight against Israel. So we will keep them not strong enough, and we make sure that they don't changing their goal, and they're still just leading a Hamas and just a society. And second, we will not let the Hamas be stronger again, the same like it did in 2007, just 1.5 years after we left Gaza Strip.
Just a few more questions and we will wrap up. I'm curious to know, what is your greatest challenge as a lieutenant colonel in the Gaza division? What's the biggest obstacle that you have? I don't mean in terms of the country at large or the entire military, but for you, the colleagues at your command level, what is your greatest challenge in this war?
My greatest challenge personally is to all the time stand in the international law while fighting against the Hamas. There is many chances to attack the Hamas in many places, but all the time they see, and we see from our special binocular, from our drones, that they're hiding among the society. And when I need to take a decision to shoot, I'm not allowed to do that in many cases, and I need to wait to the right opportunity. Sometimes there is a terror leader, and I'm waiting 10 hours, even a days, until we find the chance that he will be just by himself, not surrounding himself, not hiding among the society. That's make the work very, very, very hard. And I mean, I'm not the chief of the staff, but I personally think that we need to take a decision where we want to win. If we want to win in the court in Hague, or we want to win in Gaza. I think that if we will win decisive win in Hague, we can't win in Gaza. And if we will win decisive win in Gaza, we will not win in Hague. But this is a moral decision, and I think that we need right now to be very connected to our goals, to our objectives. I think that we need to be much more responsible and committed to our society and not to the international society, because this is our mission, to ensure the security of Israel to the longevity, to the next generation, and not to ensure the international law for the long term. And otherwise, we're just losing more life of soldiers, and the war will take much more time.
Would you say that it's possible to be an ethical soldier, officer, Israeli, Jew, and not follow all of the international laws? And in fact, these international laws can be a barrier to maintaining an ethical war, or are they really one and the same?
I think that first of all, that this international law created to a war between countries, not between country to terror organization. So it's not fit to this reality, and they ignore that. And I think at the same time that they ignore that, they want us to work by the international law because they don't want us to win, and they support the Hamas much more than they support Israel. So they know that it just make us hardest to work. It makes the war hardest for Israel, and for them, much of the people, even those that are sitting in the high court in Hague, for them this is very good. They prefer it to be like that. And I think that it's not moral right now to fight under the international law. I'm doing what I need to do, and of course I'm committed to my commanders, and to the rules. But I personally think that it's not moral to fight under this international law, because it just make the Hamas stronger and make us weaker. It give the Hamas members much more chance to live, and make our soldier less chance to live and to survive in this hard condition war. So I hope that first of all, our leaders our prime minister and the minister of defense will be much more committed to our values, the values of fighting against the evil, defeating the evil, defeating those who want to kill us, even if we understand that because hiding between some of the civilians. If I need to choose between our civilians to their civilians, I choose their civilian. I mean, just try to put yourself in my shoes. When I some of the time when I see them launching rockets into Israel and they surrounding themselves, and I see that from our special binoculars and our cameras, and I see them surrounding themselves with kids, and I know that maybe this rocket that launched to Israel will hit our kindergarten. It's kind of decision between their kids to our kids. So where should you think I should be more committed? Of course that I need to be more committed to our kids. But we trying to do that in another way. We're not attacking them. We try to find another way to do that. And in all of these cases, we are not shooting, and we're taking the risk, and they're shooting straight to Israel and risking our society and our kids.
That is a huge challenge that most ordinary people certainly don't bear the burden of. So kol hakavod to you for all that you do. Let me ask you one final question. What would you say is your greatest opportunity right now?
I think that the greatest opportunity right now is to change, after we started to change the Middle East. I believe that every one of you faced with, like in what we're happening right now in Hezbollah, in Syria, and Iran, and so on, is to remove the threat decisively to take it down, take it back into a place that this area of the Gaza Strip will be a place of opportunity and not place of a threat, a place of tourism, place of opportunity to use this area to the benefit of Israel, and to maybe to immigrate, to help them to immigrate to another countries, and not to stay in this area that just give them the chance and give the terror organization to use the civilians to their own needs. I mean, just think about it, that UNRWA that came into Gaza in the predates years ago. I mean, after so many years, it's supposed to be this area in a place that with no immigrants, no, to take all of this money that they get billions of money every year to improve their life. But what they did is just make this problem, leave this problem the same that it was even since 1967, and become a permanent problem, and not problems that change into a good way. So if they didn't do that, and no one really want to change the reality, maybe to remove the threats and to immigrate them into another countries, I think this is our opportunity to a better future.
Lieutenant Colonel Yaron Buskila, thank you for sharing all of this with us, and thank you for all that you do defending the state of Israel. Thank you to all of our viewers and supporters for tuning into this briefing. We will be back with you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.